I'm Billy S, welcome back to the channel. I just played the Resident Evil 4 Remake Chainsaw Demo, which gives players the chance to try out the first 15 minutes of the game, from your first ganado sighting to the all-out brawl at the village square. This demo is available on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam, so be sure to try it out yourselves when you get the chance. As a massive fan of the original Resident Evil 4, I'm excited to see just what has changed, what has remained, and how this remake aims to exist alongside the original. So please join me today as I talk about the demo and what I enjoyed. But before that, over 90% of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, consider subscribing and hitting that church bell to be notified about all major uploads. You see what I did there? Oh, that was quite funny. The developers really went above and beyond to make the opening moments feel far more oppressive than the original game. In OG RE4, the environments are more open, which allows you to spot enemies coming a mile away, while here we have narrow forest paths leading deep into the woods, fractured cabins, creepy candles, the corpses of animals set up on plinths as you go. Very reminiscent of Resident Evil 7's opening moments. You get the feeling you're walking into somewhere you don't want to be, and somewhere that isn't very welcoming, and that doesn't change across the whole demo. The sloped, rickety path towards the village builds in tension, mutterings from the ganados can be heard even when they're not in your path, creating this creepy ambiance that had me squirming. This was similar in the original games, but audio has come a long way since 2004, and Capcom have mastered the art of audio design. I thought RE2 Remake was the king in that regard, but RE4 Remake is knocking on their door. So the demo drops you in at the start of the game, but I'm pretty sure they cut out an opening cutscene of Leon and the police officers actually arriving, as you're dropped in right as the two officers who escorted you have gone missing. I'm wondering why that cutscene wasn't shown, but I'm weirdly hoping they keep the upbeat music from the original at the start just to preserve some of the campiness of RE4. I did enjoy the extra cutscenes of Leon remembering his training though, as we got a shot of him and Krauser before Operation Javier. And I kind of wish we got an actual cutscene of them in South America, just so we could get a visual reference to Darkside Chronicles. I know in the released footage from a few weeks ago, Operation Javier gets referenced in dialogue, but I want more, damn it, I'm greedy. So let's talk about that starting lodge, shall we? Instead of simply walking into a living room and invading a Spanish person's privacy, we have to explore the house first. I entered a rundown bedroom, found some Blair Witch bullshit, and then realized there were holes in the wall. Naturally, I peeked through them, not sure what I'd find, hoping I wouldn't be staring into the eyes of a ganado, but instead, I spotted a familiar fireplace. I was pleasantly surprised to find the original ganado encounter was fairly unchanged from the original, though I do miss the creepy 270-degree turn the ganado in the original game did, as it was just an unnatural movement, whereas the one in the remake just appears staring at us over our shoulder. It's a small detail, but I will miss it. The ganados, when they're in their passive state in the remake, are genuinely creepy in a way the original game just couldn't portray. The way their faces are weirdly content when they're not trying to murder you just makes that violent change all the more disturbing. I also have to give a shout out to the new voice lines for the ganados. For those of you that don't know, there are distinct types of Spanish. There's Latin American Spanish, commonly used in South America, Mexican Spanish, bet you can guess where that was used, and Peninsular Spanish, which is used in Spain. In the original RE4, they spoke Peninsular Spanish, which is correct, but the voice actors had Latin American and Mexican accents, so the voice acting came across as goofy to Spanish players. I know this because my boyfriend is Spanish, and RE4 is one of his most replayed games of all time, so he's told me all of this. From what I can gather, the Spanish accents sound more familiar now to what I've been used to living in Spain, and I'm looking forward to hearing more ganados in the remake, Call Me a Coño. Eventually, you end up in the basement where you find the corpse of one of the police officers, and one of my favorite moments of the demo happened here, because instead of the police radio being played through my headphones, they played the audio for the other cop through my controller, making it feel like I'm literally holding the radio myself. It made me jump, and I'd just like to share that reaction with you. Please enjoy.
I read you. What's your situation?
It's coming through the controller!
What the hell's going on?
I wasn't expecting that to come through the controller, what the fuck? This leads to our first true enemy encounter with the same ganado from before, just his head is a bit broken, shall we say? And I'll be honest, I sucked. I sucked badly. I wasn't expecting to come into RE4 Remake as some god gamer with blessed accuracy, but I thought I'd be better than this. Come on, Billy. The brief stealth segment that follows was a nice change of pace. You actively use the holes in the wall of the cabin to detect where the enemy ganado is, but I suspect you could just run for the progression door and not have to worry too much. Great ambiance overall in this segment. This ends just as it did in the original, with you jumping out of a window and rolling away to safety. Only in Remake, there are no enemies to combat once you get up. Instead, you ominously stare at the ganados in the house, and then it's off to the village. The journey to the village square is basically a tutorial for both your inventory, as well as finding items in the RE engine classic yellow taped boxes. There are also a few bear traps, and a couple of ganados to deal with. Sadly, we couldn't save during the demo, which means I couldn't hear the save music, which is a travesty. How dare they make us wait another 17 days? The RE4 save theme is one of the most iconic pieces of video game music, so I'm hoping they did that theme proud, as I'd love to include it in my relaxing music playlist alongside RE7's save theme. I also got to finally see that dead dog that stirred up all the controversy months ago, but something tells me they've simply moved the doggo you saved from the bear trap in the original game to a different location. There were far less traps than in the original on the path to the village, not a single tripwire, which tells me they're probably including them in a different area, thus it maybe makes sense to move the doggo there as well. I could be completely wrong, but that's the assumption I'm making. With the journey to the village underway, I had to take a look at this game's crafting mechanics, and I was very surprised to see just how many herb combinations there were, as well as how many of the different herb combinations increased Leon's max health. In the original game, only a green, red, yellow herb could do that, whereas in Remake, there are multiple combinations. I have to imagine that green, red, yellow is still the most effective maxed health boost, but we'll have to wait for the full game to find out. Also a big fan of the new map, I just love seeing the environment of the world behind the actual area markers, just a me thing. Now then, let's discuss the village itself. This sequence plays beat for beat like the original game, down to the layout of the village being exactly the same, filled with winding passages between the houses that allows you brief respite to escape your oncoming foes. The burning of the police officer was pretty brutal, given we actually see him die in the remake. Poor dude. And then it's off to fight the village. I tried very brief stealth, it didn't work, and then the panic set in. You don't have a ton of ammo, and these ganados are far tankier than the ones in the original game, meaning I was constantly on the back foot. And I loved it. This is exactly how I wanted to feel handling the village for the first time. Struggling to stay alive, making mistakes, setting people on fire with a flaming cow. And that's all before Dr. Salvador comes in with his chainsaw and straight up makes this life or death situation 10 times worse. Of my entire experience with this part of the level, there were 2 moments that came to mind that I really enjoyed. First, I tried climbing the village watchtower to try and get a height advantage from the onslaught, and I don't recall if this happens in the original game, let me know down below, but when I got up there, the floor collapsed. No escape from the horde for me. The second moment I vividly recall was right at the very end. I had stupidly backed myself into a very small house with no way out. My knife was running low, and then Dr. Salvador tried to cut me down. I parried him with my knife. Hiya! And then it broke. The sheer level of fear at being in this cramped house, no way to defend myself, no way to get out, and my knife broke? I thought I was dead. But that was when the church bell rung and I survived by the skin of my teeth. I have to wonder if that bell is set on a timer or if the demo just realized when I was out of resources, but that would take a few replays to actually find out. That was an incredibly chaotic mob mess that I'm shocked I survived, and I certainly won't be making those same rookie mistakes in the main game. That final cutscene, man, how eerie was that? Watching the Ganados walk past Leon like he isn't even there, it felt so wrong on so many levels, but in such a good way. Masterful storytelling, ending with the best line in video game history. I'm so glad it's still there. Please enjoy.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Yes! Leon feels like a more realistic version of his OG counterpart. The fact that he still has all of his sass, but he's also dealing with extreme trauma, makes him very compelling and very human. I'm looking forward to more of his portrayal in the main game, as well as the rest of the cast. Hunnigan is also already off to a great start, though I don't understand why she has to sit in this dark-ass room. Did she not pay the light bill? This demo has solidified that, so far, the developers of this remake know exactly what they're doing, and they're treating the original game with the reverence it deserves. From everything we've seen, this is going to be a Game of the Year contender without a shadow of a doubt. I don't see it winning, but it's gonna come close. Depending on how they fix the endgame though, I would say this could be better than the original. With that being said, have you tried the demo for yourself? Are you looking forward to Resident Evil 4 Remake, or did you just watch this video because you're a fan of my channel and you want to support me? Let me know in the comments down below. My socials are on screen now, feel free to follow where you feel comfortable, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and a big shout out to my Patreon supporters. You guys are why I can keep making videos each and every week. You're awesome. So see you next time, guys. Have a good one. Adios.